Hello, everyone. My name is Eric Hughes, and I am the social media coordinator for Theater 3 in Port Jefferson. We are so excited this summer to be reopening our doors to have live audiences back with us. We are going to be reopening our main stage with The Fantastics. Our children's theater is going to be opening back up with The Adventures of Peter Rabbit, and kicking off the summer, we have the 15th annual Long Island Comedy Festival, and I have the pleasure of being joined today by the headliner of the Long Island Comedy Festival, Miss Leighann Lord. Leighann, how are you doing today? Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me. I am feeling great, and you surprised me with some information there. I can't. Has it been 15 years that the festival's been going? Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
Mr. Paul Anthony, the founder and host of the comedy festival, actually informed me of that myself. I was blown away. I was like, wow, 15 years. It's crazy. It's definitely a tradition that we love, hosting every year at Theater 3, and we can't wait for this year.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it.
Excellent. Yeah. So I'm ready to get right on into the questions here. We'll start with question number one. Who or what inspired you to become a comedian? And did you know that this was always something that you wanted to do, or was this something that was introduced to you and then it just kind of clicked, like, I want to do this?
Okay, well, two separate questions. In terms of sort of who inspired me, I would think I grew up enjoying, George Carlin, Marsha Warfield, who is back doing stand-up, back acting.
Excellent.
Yeah, no, she's so great. I remember when I reached out to her on Facebook, because people are accessible now through social media.
Oh yeah, more than ever.
Yeah, just to tell her, like, hey, you were one of the first Black, women I saw doing stand-up, and I'm a fan. It really warmed my heart when she said, I'm a fan of your work too. I was like, what?
That's gotta feel so surreal.
It was incredibly surreal. And then she performed here in New York. It wasn't the Blue Note, but it was a venue in the city. And she got tickets for me, and I went. So I actually got to meet her, and I'm like, this is not happening.
Oh
this
my
is
gosh.
Amazing. So not knowing how incredibly difficult it was. But because the stand-up stage is different from the theater stage. People have described it this way, and it really fits. You're sitting in an audience of strangers, essentially, and then the lights go down, and it's like, tell me a story. And we're all of us are 5 years old again, listening
seriously.
to what that story is, and having that collective reaction. There's just nothing like it.
So going on to our next question here, how does it feel knowing that you'll be performing in front of a live audience again at Theater 3? Obviously, like you said before, like everything these past year and a half, 2 years have been just so crazy for everyone. So many things have changed in the performing field. I've seen like magic shows on Zoom, and it's just not. It's cool, but it's not the same as seeing a magic show in real life. So how's that going to feel for you?
I know I'm excited. My fellow performers are excited. I think the audiences, that's what's really important.
Yeah.
They was like, yeah, we missed you. We want to see you. we don't want to be muted.
We want to be back in front of a stage.
We want to be back in front of a stage. We want to be heard, So I really am looking forward to that.
And finally, on to our last question here with you. Do you have any tips or advice for anyone who would be interested in pursuing comedy or has thought of, getting on a stage and doing comedy?
Don't do it.
Not the answer I was expecting. I'm not going to lie.
It's so hard.
Is it rewarding though? Obviously I know you're very successful with your career, and is like, what's that feel like for you? Has it been like a long journey that you feel like it's just like, finally, like you just feel like you're there, and you just have that.
No, I never feel like I'm there. I always feel like I'm sort of, on to the next thing. And, but in terms of, seriously, advice, yes, don't do this. But if you're hell bent, there are a couple of things. You definitely should be watching comedy. Whether it's, on YouTube or live. I recommend live. Now that we have the opportunity to do so. Watch good comedy, watch bad comedy. You'll learn even more from terrible stuff. You're like, oh wow, that sucked. And then figuring out why, or even what went wrong, figuring out what your style is, delving into sort of the history of comedy, going back and seeing who some of our forerunners are. But you have to also understand that stand-up comedy is two things. It is writing and performing. just writing makes you a comedy writer. What makes you a stand-up is actually then taking those jokes off the page and getting them onto the stage. So studying the history, writing and performing, and I think getting together and making sure you have a good group of people, a good support system of fellow comics, whether it's, 2 or 3 or 4 people that you guys, figure out, hey, let's go to open mics together, or let's plan an open mic, let's produce one ourselves. What you need are people to help you, polish what you have and who are going to support you, and vice versa. That group of friends who, you may not always be doing the same gigs, but you're sort of in the same cohort. And if I can add a 5th thing, if you're doing this, if you're actually performing, if you're actually getting up on stage, it is absolutely critical that you record your sets. But so that, you can hear what you're doing. My dad used to call it, that's your game film. It's the one and only sports reference that I know. But you're watching to see, well, what did I do there? Because sometimes the film that's rolling in your head is not actually what happened. Yeah. So you can be your own best friend as a comic by making sure that you're capturing your own gold or capturing your own game film. But after all of that said, don't do this.
Come full circle now.
Full circle. We're gonna call that a callback. It's not funny, so maybe it's not really a callback, but it's a running theme. Don't do this.
Well, that was just absolutely amazing, Leighann. Thank you so much for joining me today. You can catch Leighann performing live at the Long Island Comedy Festival, the 15th annual Long Island Comedy Festival. It's going to be going on this July. Please make sure you guys get your tickets. I've been Eric Hughes, social media coordinator for Theater 3, and thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.